ways to improve that TEEP, your front kick, how to blast people backwards, how to stay balanced, how to not get damaged while throwing your front kick. This is what we're covering today. Now, I just came from the gym. I did my sprints on the treadmill. This morning I was hitting pads. I'm tired, I am worn out, but I still wanted to make the episode for you, but we're going straight through. So I don't have to do any editing today. If I make mistakes, just bear with me. One take, that's all we're doing. And if you guys appreciate the fact that yes, I record these for you, yes, I do all the editing, and you get to watch them and learn, please give the video a like, that's all I ask. Also, XMartial, that's what I'm wearing right now. Awesome company, and the link down below for 10%, as well as my Strike Ready Movement course is on sale for a little bit longer for $99. We focus on footwork, balance, and range. Now let's move in to how we're going to get a better front kick. And this can be utilized offensively and defensively, right? A great TEEP, when somebody rushes you, boom, you stop them. You make them scared to move forward. But additionally, it can be a great offensive tool where you're out of range, they think they're safe, and you're coming in and you're blasting them over and over and over, making them very scared. Then you can start faking and following up with other combinations. Great way to close the distance. So my very first tip for you when executing your TEEP, your front kick, is to make sure that you are elevating your knee and pushing through, as opposed to keeping your knee down low and coming upwards. People who do this ladder kick here, where they're kind of kicking like this, they're the ones who get their toes jammed. Those toes get jammed up because all somebody has to do is drop an elbow. And you're going to eat that right on your foot. It should be up knee high and then pushing through. So even if you do catch forearm, it's going to be hitting here, not up there. And to me, that all stems from a proper chamber as opposed to a lazy chamber. You can see the difference. I'm flicking upwards and I'm pushing through. We want that drive through. So play with your chamber, right? It's a great setup to have a good chamber into something else, but in addition, it keeps your toes from getting very, very jammed. The next tip that I want to give you is hand positioning. Many people see the Muay Thai fighters swinging their arm down, swinging their arm down. And while that's great, there are times where you're going to throw a front kick and the person is going to be a little bit more jammed. So play around with the idea that yes, I can swing my arm, but in addition, I can place my arm down the middle. So now if I'm kicking towards you guys, you can see I've taken away the threat of those straight punches. Anybody who, leans in to throw a long shot, they'll eat the front kick, but their hand will get jammed halfway instead of them taking the front kick but hitting me in the face. Hand position, instead of here, just goes up the middle, a slight extension. This versus that. It's not something massive that you have to do, but it definitely assists greatly. The next thing that I see many people not doing, especially UFC fighters, is they kick, but there's no pivot. And this massively decreases the distance at which you can throw your kick. Watch here. I'm gonna back up to this point where, I can't even touch. Now I just very simply pivot, and I can get so much more range out of that front kick. No pivot, pivot. No pivot, pivot. Look how much length I have there to really drive through. And many people struggle on this because they confuse their pivot with one of a front kick or a round kick. On a round kick, we have to turn, but we elevate. Our heel comes off the ground. When we throw our front kick, we have to pivot, but then reconnect our heel to the floor. So I disconnect it only slightly and I reconnect so that when I make impact, boom, my foot is flat. If I'm up here, I'm going to be off balance and get knocked backwards myself. So having a good pivot where you reconnect that heel to the ground, and you should be able to do it like this, just like I'm doing now. 1, 2, 1, 2. If you can do that, especially with your foot off the floor, never letting it touch, you're going to be able to throw your front kick no problem. So that is tip number 3. My poor Bob is just dying here. He keeps sliding down. Number 4, the last one that I want to give you today is playing with the concept of what your head can do when you front kick. So you can see if I keep my head straight up, right? That's just me touching a little bit. Sometimes I lean back. When I lean back, that's going to allow my hips to hinge forward. Because if I push my hips forward and I leave my head here, I very quickly fall. But if I hinge my hips forward and I lean back, I can balance. But look at this extra distance which I can create. So if I pivot and I lean backwards, I create massive range on that kick. And you can start landing on people from way back here where they're going, yeah, there's no way. No pivot, a pivot, now a pivot with a lean back, whoa, getting so much more distance. And this will help keep you safe as well. If you're somebody who likes to swing that arm down and you don't want to be putting your hand up here, then I get that head entirely out of range. You take these 4 tips, you apply them to your front kick, keep the ones that work for you, disregard the ones that don't, and I think you're going to find that you start landing this much more frequently with much more impact, devastating results, all the good stuff that we want. Anyway, guys, let's call it there. I'm going to go and get some food in the stomach and rest up for the rest of the night. I'll see you back here soon.